Project datasets. Major topic. Okay, finding datasets. So today you are going to look for the dataset that you are going to use for the next 2 weeks for your project. The reason why we are starting today is so that you can get the most out of your project. If you spend 3 days on it, it's simply not going to be as good as if you spend 10 days. Okay, I want you to spend 10 days. I want you to find a data set that you like that you can get to know well. Okay, so you must choose a data set for your BCA final project. You may choose from among BCA datasets or find your own. Okay, you will be provided with links to some datasets that we have used and previewed that are pre-approved, or you can simply, you're going to do both. You're going to look for your own also, okay? Today, you're going to pull up several datasets to get a feel for some different ones to try to find one that you like. The UCI Machine Learning Repository, Kaggle, and Google Datasets are 3 great places to find free datasets. That's when you're looking on your own. Your datasets must have one column that could conceivably be predicted from the others. Why? For machine learning. I'll provide some more guidance on this. Just keep it in mind when you're looking, okay? And we'll look at examples later. And you will use the same data set this week and next week. So this week the focus is in data analytics. Pretty much anything will work for that. But next week is machine learning, and I really want you to be able to use the same data set for both because it is going to make your project that much more stronger. And finally, all data sets must be cleared with the cohort leads. Look, we want you to have free reign, but you want to rely on our expertise to say, yes, this will be great for machine learning, or it might be, this has some issues. Maybe you want to look at something else, okay? All right, so what are problematic data sets? When are there going to be issues? First of all, if there's 50 rows or less, that is probably not enough for machine learning predictions. You need more data to learn from machine learning. You're learning from data. In some respects, the more data, the more rows, the better. Another problem is if most columns have null values. That means a lot of empty data. So it might be too hard to clean. It really depends. It's kind of depends on the situation. But just if there's like null values, or like if over half the data is null values, you don't want that. It's fine to have some here and there, and we will focus on cleaning those in upcoming lessons. Learning from mostly text or image columns. Well, most columns should be numeric, okay? And that's for machine learning for this class. That's the norm for machine learning. I do want to let you know that we do have a deep learning in Python program as well if you do want to in the future explore text or image-based columns. Now, it's okay if you have some text columns. Totally fine. We're going to have some. That's fine. But if it's like all text and like user reviews primarily, what I mean is when text is the dominant feature of it. And again, more info on this will be forthcoming. Try to look for data that is primarily numeric. Incomprehensible, you don't want that, right? You should know what the columns mean. If you found some data set in a cool topic you like, Android cell phones, but you can't understand any of it, don't choose it, okay? You want to be able to interpret it, right? So what are great data sets? If those ones pose problems, when does it in fact work well? Let's say between 150 and 50,000 rows is nice. If it's bigger, it's totally fine. There's a simple technique you can use to shorten it. You just put in rows equals, you can put like 1,000 or something. No null values or very few null values is great. There's not like a ton of stuff to clean. It's actually good to show that you can clean null values. So we're actually welcoming the null values. We just don't want it to dominate the data. Means it's easy to clean, which is nice. And you want a clear column to predict, right? This is the whole focus of machine learning. When you look at your data, you're simply asking the question, hey, would it be interesting to predict one of these from the other? And again, we'll be looking at examples of where yes and no. And sometimes, a little creativity. It's not like a hard, cut and dry thing where it's like, well, I'm the authority and I say no. If you see a way to do it, by all means, go for it. Okay. Sometimes it takes some creativity. Yeah. The point is that the columns should be influential. Like meaning that the ones influence the others. We'll see examples. Okay, and certainly comprehensible. So if you understand what most columns mean, that is a good sign. Okay, these are all good signs. Yes, your data set is probably totally fine for machine learning. Why the focus on machine learning? Because any of them are going to be fine for data analytics this week. Okay, a little bit of advice. Pick what you find interesting, not the easy route. You're going to spend 2 weeks with this data set. So if you're passionate about it, you get into it, that's going to get you the most mileage in the long run. It's going to show. Okay? You can spend a lot of time exploring today. Also tomorrow. It's not like, again, you've got to have it by the time class ends today. I think the sooner the better. Okay? Spend some time afterward, and we'll give people a little time tomorrow also to finalize. You can always change it later too. Again, we're not rigid, right? If you decide in 3 days, oh, you found the perfect data set, hey, go with that one, okay? Point is, the more days, the better. So get a working model today. And I can tell you this from experience too, having done data programs. I wished I had picked some data sets earlier when I was going through curriculum, okay? Let's look at some examples.